Chaz, AJ, mornings.
Right now, we're going to talk about one movie with three dudes. And first, I just want to introduce the guys and get a little of their background, then we'll talk about the movie. The movie is Desolation Angels, Rise of the BOAS. And BOAS stands for what?
It stands for Burned Out
A-holes.
You got it.
Right, okay. Thank you for pausing. Appreciate that. So we have Jayson Byrd. You made the movie?
We're making the movie. We're in the midst of making the movie right now. And I wrote it, I'm directing it, and I've cast in it some really interesting characters like Neal Smith, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, who does a great Russian accent.
So before you got into this movie thing, you photographed a lot of famous people like Paul Newman, Bob Dylan, Dudley Moore. How did that all happen?
Well, I was lucky. I walked into it. I was a chemist at Olin Corporation.
I knew someone like you.
Why?
More
You?
freelance?
So you were a chemist and you became a photographer?
Well, what happened was I went to graduate school 3 times in order to get out from being a chemist. And I had an opportunity in 1980. Well, I was on tour with Bob Dylan during his Rolling Thunder tour. And I started doing that. And then 1980, I got to photograph Christopher Plummer at the American Shakespearean Theater. And he liked my work. And what happened was that 2 years later, I had to make a decision. Was I going to continue in the business as a plant manager? At the time, I was a plant manager of a small chemical company. And one day I came in, my boss said, you have to make up your mind. And I said, can I use the initial FU?
No, just F-U you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
So I said FU, and I walked out the
So
door.
that was your decision.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
But Plummer liked me, and we went from there. From there, I met guys like Neal, and Dudley Moore.
Let me talk to Neal for a second. So Neal, you were drumming with Alice Cooper for like forever, right?
Well, was one of the founding members of the original Five Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went through that whole deal, right?
Yeah, we were just talking about some of the stories this morning.
Yeah, you must have a ton.
I can't tell them now.
Like, I would love to have you at the studio for like an hour just go through some of that stuff. But you guys had like an alignment with Frank Zappa and the Mothers, right?
Well, he was the one that gave us our first record deal, Frank was.
And didn't he have you guys open for him, like unannounced or something? Or you guys opened for him? I heard the story, and you tell me if it's true.
Tell me the story.
Okay, the story I heard was one night you guys opened for him, and like people walked out because it was so like what you guys were doing on stage was so like cutting edge and crazy. So the next night he said, "Oh yeah, well yeah, we're not going to have them or whatever."
Right.
And then you guys came out and did it again anyway.
Well,
was that close?
That's close.
Okay,
that's close. Yeah, we were playing at the Cheetah Club in Santa Monica. There was a big festival. And there were a lot of bands at the time that were there. The Doors were probably the biggest band. And Frank was there. And also our manager-to-be, Shep Gordon, was there also. And we went on stage and cleared the place out. And it was packed. There were thousands of people in there.
So what was clearing them out? Like you're hanging yourself, like Alice is hanging himself, head's cutting off.
That was way before. We were way too poor to have a guillotine on stage or a gallows. So we just, at that time, we were just doing some weird stuff. The music off Pretty's for Uneasy Action, which Frank recorded for us, that was the music that we were playing. So it wasn't the mainstream of what was happening in Los Angeles or the West Coast at the time.
It was too out there.
You got that, yeah.
So now you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, we were inducted in 2011, and it was a big surprise to me because we had been shunned, to coin an Amish phrase, been shunned for over almost 20 years.
Yeah, I remember. I've been on the air forever, and we've been every year. I was like, yep, they've passed over Alice Cooper's band again. So
well, there's some reasons for that, and some of the people that were
politics.
They're not around anymore.
Yeah,
so,
well, good. I'm glad
we outlived them.
There you go.
So, are you going to tour with Alice when he goes around with Motley Crue?
No, the original band got together for some shows around the Hall of Fame. We played in Arizona. We with the Waldorf at the Hall of Fame and did a show there. Went out to Los Angeles, did a couple of shows. But the original band just does special things on occasion.
Right.
So this is Alice's solo band that he's been working with. Great band, by the way, for like the last 5 to 10 years.
Gotcha. And then Alex, what's your deal? You're from New Haven. You're into martial arts.
Yes, I have a martial arts school in Hamden.
And I've been doing that for over 30, 40 years.
So I got here that you're recognized as one of the most highly respected martial artists in the U.S. and abroad.
That's
Is that something that someone just wrote when they were putting your website together?
They were scared to say no.
Yeah.
No, right.
Do what he says.
No, other people have said that, you know, and I'm humbled by it. And, you know, I guess time speaks for itself. I've been doing it for so long. And then also I've been acting for the last 5 years.
You've been in on Blue Bloods?
Yeah, I'm a regular on Blue Bloods.
Oh, cool.
For the last 4 years, I play one of their undercover detectives. And I primarily work in the squad room with Donnie Wahlberg, who was a really great guy. And that whole show, everybody is like super cool to work with.
You worked with Ray Liotta?
Yes, I worked with Ray Liotta on the film Pawn, which was filmed in West Hartford. And I played his right-hand man, muscle man, kind of like Hitman. And that was a thrill for me.
You got that look.
You do.
Yeah,
Thanks.
well, you can play
You
that.
do. I
The
was
black
saying-
leather and the scarf.
I was
and
gonna
the,
give you money.
Yeah.
That's what I get cast a lot for, is like a bad guy,
Right.
Russian hitman.
Hey, it
kinda
works.
Like, hey,
And you-
whatever works.
And you work
Exactly.
with James Gandolfini.
Yes, I worked with James Gandolfini in his last film.
That was a tremendous loss.
Yeah.
When I heard that, I was just totally shocked.
Yeah.
And everything they said about him, what a wonderful, beautiful man. He
Yeah.
really was kind and just a real nice guy.
And Keanu Reeves as well. Recently,
Keanu Reeves
right?
is very cool. He's very focused. He's to himself. You know, he's pleasant. He's nice, but he's just locked in when he's on set. And it was a thrill for me to work with these type of actors, and I've learned a lot from working with them.
So this movie, Desolation Angels, we're looking to get some money for the finish
Yeah.
so we can finish it, right?
Yeah, we've been looking on Kickstarter to try and raise it. There's a trailer that's up. I don't know whether you got a chance to look at it, but I'm in between Neal and Alex, and I'm introducing them, and they are in character because Neal does a great Russian accent, and Alex does as well. And,
Let's hear them.
Neal, how are you feeling today with all this snow out there? I think it's no good.
Reminds me of home.
Reminds me of home back in Siberia, you know?
But most of the time there's some blood on it.
Oh, I agree. Okay. I
No,
follow you with
they're
that.
quite good.
Nice.
It sounds like commentators for the Olympics.
I closed my eyes. I was there.
Very good.
So real quick, before I hit a break here, how can people help you make this movie?
Well, we can go to Facebook, and you can look under Desolation Angels /Rise of the BOAS. And may not be able to raise the entire amount of money on Kickstarter, but we're going to go to another site soon. We've had a lot of interest. Bob Ezrin, who was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame guy from Kiss, Alice Cooper, and from
Oh, sure. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
yeah.
Our producer.
producer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And he donated money, and we've had people from Europe and everything else. It's just that it's hard getting things out there. We're doing it in Connecticut. And we're using a bunch of actors that, like Alex, that you see all the time, but you really don't get to see.
They don't
what
get the
can do.
recognition that they should. Yeah,
Right.
because they're always like playing another role in something.
See, I originally
So-
quickly offered it to people like some of the Winter brothers, like Dean Winters, whose brother who plays Mayhem.
So I got to hit a break right here, but we're going to link up everything on our sites where
Great.
people can
Thank
go
you.
and look you guys up, look up the movie, and help make it. I think it should be made. I'd love to see
Definitely,
it.
yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
thanks you guys.
All right,
Really
thank you very
pleasure
much.
meeting all
Thank
of
you.
you.
Chaz, AJ, mornings.